how's it going? I am super excited because I am starting today 5 days of tarot tips. So, what these are, I'm going to do starting today, is just short little, almost like mini lessons of how to read the tarot using my unique methods. And I'm really excited to share this with you because when you learn tarot from a book, you do not have access usually to sort of the storytelling and intuitive way of reading tarot. So when I very first started many, many years ago, well, first of all, when I very first started, I was really young. My oldest sister, Debbie, she introduced me to the occult, we'll call it back then in the 80s, right? It was called the occult. She introduced me to all that kind of stuff when I was like 16. And I kind of was introduced to the tarot back then, and I played with it off and on for years. You know, I would get together with my girlfriends, and I'd pull out my deck, and I'd pull out the little booklet that comes with the, you know, in the box, and we would giggle and hee hee, and we would read each card one by one, and oftentimes it was very accurate, and I would do that every once in a while. But I always knew there was something more to reading tarot cards than just getting a card, looking up the meaning, right? That's what almost everybody does. So then I would throw the cards in a, junk drawer and forget about them for years until I had a friend or someone would mention them and we go, oh, let's pull out the deck of cards again. So it was around 2000, I think. It was 2000 for sure. Hold on. Yes, 2001. I was going through a big thing in my life, a personal struggle, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to use the cards more deliberately, more intentionally. I'm going to really study them because I feel like the cards will help me understand what's going on right now. So I, used a book that I've had forever, and I really studied. Like, I memorized paragraphs, and I memorized the cards, and I went through them one by one, memorizing them, and I practiced the layout, the Celtic Cross layout with the book, and I bought tons of books and read about the history of tarot. Like, I was diving deep, and I did readings for myself every single day, and I journaled every single day. And the interesting thing that started to happen was the same cards would show up over and over again, and it was a very good exercise. I highly recommend it to anyone. It actually is part of what I teach in my Dabbler to Diva course, is that you journal your experience with the tarot cards. What I started to find is that once I forgot about the book and just, as I got practice with just looking at the cards and understanding intuitively and seeing them as pictures or stories I was telling, suddenly the cards were like speaking to me. And it was unbelievable. I went, oh my God, that's what's missing for the way I read the cards. Oh my God, light bulb moment, right? So that's what I learned to do for myself and what I teach people in my course, Dabbler to Diva, to read for yourself or for other people. So for this next 5 days, I'm going to give little snippets of what I teach in my class to you. And you will have really actual, tools and strategies you can use to read the cards just by watching these 5 videos for the next 5 days. So what day is it? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So yeah, you will have 5 strategies to use. And if you want to join my course, that'd be amazing, but there'll be more about that later. All right, are you ready? So the very first thing I wanted to teach you on how to read tarot cards is very simple. Sometimes when you look at a card, I'm going to show you the first card we're going to talk about, right? And if I say to you, what does this card mean? Right? If you have experience, that's cheating. You can't tell me. But what does this card mean? And I want you to read it. Most people would be like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. How the hell am I supposed to do that? And we go to the book and we look it up. Oh, that's what the 4 of Cups means, right? Well, that meaning in that book, that's a general meaning that has been sort of an understood general interpretation sort of collectively over the years that other people have, emulated and used, and that's fine. You can do it that way if you want to. I personally prefer to look at this card and use the tools I'm going to show you in the next 5 days, and this is the first one. Are you ready? It's called Say What You See. Say what you see, and then the next piece of that is tell a little story around what you see. So here's how this works. So easy, it's redonkulous, okay? Like, I'm literally giving away all my tricks, although I want to because I really want to work myself out of a job. I would love for people to read for themselves too because it's so empowering. I mean, I don't really want to work myself out of a job because I love my work. It's like my life's work. So 4 of Cups. So let's try this, okay? Let's just try. Remember I showed it to you a minute ago, and maybe you're one of those people that went, I have no idea what I'm seeing. I don't know. How do I read this? I'm telling you, this is amazing. So this is step 1. And I'm going to take this same card, throughout the 5 days, okay? Except for when we talk about major arcanas, which I may or may not do, I'm not sure. But we're going to take the same exact card through the next 5 days, so you're going to really see. So, say what you see. That is literally describing this card. That's literally saying, okay, there's a tree in the background. There's 3, cups that are upright sitting on the ground in front of a man who's sitting under this tree with his arms crossed. You can't really see, I don't think, but he's got, like, not only his arms crossed, but he's not even looking at the cup that's being offered. There's a cup that's being offered to him from some clouds, some bodiless hand with clouds attached, offering. His legs are crossed. In the background, there is, like, cliffs and mountains, it looks like, okay? It's a blue sky. That's literally all we're doing. Saying what you see. That's it. We're just describing the card literally. Now, as you do that, and you do this out loud, by the way. This is tarot tip, major tarot tip number 1. Whenever you're doing this kind of work, and when you take my class, because I know you will, because you're gonna love it, is you talk out loud. You must talk out loud, because you'll hear yourself. It does something magical, especially when we get into card interactions, which we will, I think, on day 4. All right, so say what you see. Well, that's what I just described. Now, what I noticed when I was talking out loud is that I noticed that I said his arms are crossed and he's not looking at this cup that's being offered. He's looking away. And this is, what is this? Is this an open posture? No, this is a very defensive posture when we get into this posture. Because sometimes we do it for comfort, but if we're at an interaction or something's being offered, we go like this and don't look at it. Now it's time to tell a little story about what we just saw in this card. Are you ready? So this is where we tell a story like it's an illustration in a children's book. This is part 2 of day 1, okay? You say what you see, and now you're going to tell a little story about what you saw like it's an illustration in a children's book. We're just going to tell a once upon a time story about this guy here and what's happening in this card. Kind of like when you see a children's book on one side, you open the book, and on one side is, the illustration, and on the other side is all the text that the parent would read to the child. Now, if you asked a 4-year-old to read the illustration, they will be able to tell you with quite accuracy what is going on in the story at this point. To the, almost exactly what's written in words for the adult to read. Why is that? Because kids can do this, and so can you. You do know how to do this already. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was a man who was sitting under a tree with his 3 cups that were empty. Empty cups just sitting there. And out of the heavens, a beautiful cup appeared in front of him, offering him a full cup of everything he ever wanted in the world, what he most desired with his heart. But the man had been hurt and disappointed so many times by these 3 cups that he refused to even look at it, because it's too good to be true. There is no way he's going to look at this cup or accept it. What is the lesson? The moral of the lesson here would be to look at this offering and understand that just because the 3 cups before had nothing does not mean that this cup has nothing. Is to learn that you need to look at each situation individually in its own time and not have it layered with other experiences you've been through. To learn how to trust that and turn towards it instead of away from it. Tarot reading done. Even if you only ever learn day 1 tools, I guarantee you will be a badass, unbelievable tarot reader for yourself and others. How about that? Say what you see and tell a little story. That's your tarot tip for this Thursday, day 1. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.